Corey?
All right, thanks, Kirsten. Well, all new at 6:30, we're talking about tipping. It's not a law, you don't have to do it, not a requirement, but if you're planning on taking the family out to eat, you're probably going to feel the need to tip. But how much should you leave? And do you tip even if you're just picking up food to go?
We'll get the results of our Facebook poll in just a minute, but first, we talked to an etiquette expert who says that stiffing your server is never an option. The do's and don'ts of restaurant tipping seem to be debatable.
Always at least 20%.
If the waiter is very friendly, yes, I try to give the very
I
best.
think everyone should at least give something.
But for etiquette expert Camille Monk, it's straightforward.
Anytime someone is of service to you, a tip is required. Most people in the service industry within restaurants are making $2.30 an hour, $2.50 an hour, well under the minimum wage rate.
Monk says there's an appropriate tip.
Well, what's appropriate is 15 to 20%.
What about if you're just picking up food to go? Do you still tip in those cases?
Absolutely tip in those cases. It's $2 to $5.
She told us there's never an excuse not to tip.
Well, per etiquette standards, if you are not receiving good service, the first thing you should do is talk to management. Because when you don't talk to management, you are not giving that establishment a chance to do better.
Of course, she says it depends on what your definition of bad service is.
If you're being disrespected and things are out of hand, that's something totally different. But if they didn't fill your water glass fast enough, that's not bad service.
More than 1,200 of our Facebook fans took our restaurant tipping poll, and we have some very generous viewers. Look at you guys. 60% tip more than 20%. 40% tip up to 20%. You know, that's something that I always do. You always do like the generic 20%, but I did not know that if you're just picking up food that you should tip.
I never tip if I'm picking up food, though, because
You feel like...
I don't feel like they're doing a service. I don't know, I'll probably
But
get
the people who cooked your food are doing a service.
Well, correct, but I don't know, like to pay a server, I don't know, it's a whole different ballgame, I think, when you're doing the service for yourself.
Well, now you've said it on TV, so
Well,
you got to do it.
So you're all going to say mean things about me on the internet, so go right on ahead. But there's an easy way to figure out the 20% tip, even if you don't have a calculator on you. All you have to do is move the decimal point over one to the left and then double it. So you see right there, it's like 2.2, so you double that, got $4.40 right there. So, yeah, definitely something to take into account there. Always good to tip, even apparently if you're picking up food, which I need to start doing. So,
Well, there you go. Proper
shame
etiquette.
on me, I guess.
Well, let's share some of your comments from our Facebook poll. Andrea said, honestly, it depends on the service I get. I refuse to give a tip that is not earned with excellent service.
Yeah, Marva has an interesting take. She said, I usually double the tax amount to determine the tip. I round to 18%. Tip more for really good service. And Kim said never less than 20%, usually 25% for good service, 30 or more for great service. Man, girl, you are generous.
I want to
Kim.
be serving Kim. Well, Nicole said, I don't base my tips on percentages anyways. If they're horrible, $2 to $4. If they're okay or mediocre, $5. If they're good or really awesome, $6 or whatever I feel like blessing them with.
Yeah, and Ryan commented on how important tips are, saying, as a former server/bartender, I know what it's like to deal with multiple groups of needy people. I challenge anyone who hasn't depended on tips to survive to do it for a week, a month. You'll either end up being a better person or your true colors will show.
That's a good perspective there.
Yeah, we'll leave that Facebook poll up for you throughout the morning so you can vote and share your comments on this story. Definitely a talker.
It definitely is.
Everyone has an opinion on that for sure.